A little bit more? Okay. The thing with the YouTube live is you don't get a preview.
Good to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, this is Jenna.
And this is
That's
Heather.
We're Conspiracies Unlocked, and we are reviewing Britney Spears' book, The Woman in Me. We are currently doing chapter 18, and if you've made it this far, you know that she just goes in and out with whatever she's talking about. So she skips ahead, she goes back. You need to scoot over closer to me. She skips ahead, she goes back, she goes forth. She's just kind of all over the place. So she's like ADHD, non-medicated.
Yeah, basically.
Like, yeah. So we start off with so Britney had just gotten married in Vegas, and she didn't know what the fuck she wanted to do with her life. So what did she do? She goes on tour, because that's all she fucking knows. On the road again.
Yeah.
And she ended up back on the road on the Onyx Hotel tour, which you went to.
I did go to the Onyx Hotel tour, and I remember that I really liked it. It was a good performance and tour and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It was in San Diego that we saw her.
They worked her on this tour, and the vibe was super dark for her. She had a lot of sweaty numbers, and there were dark themes and moody lighting, and she just wasn't feeling it. And then what was weird was she mentions that her brother is now working for her.
Yeah, Brian.
But then he's getting paid really well working for her, but at the same time only partying in New York and LA, but not being with her on tour. So what was his role?
So one of the things that she did mention is that her brother was part of a big deal with Elizabeth Arden, which is who she did one of her, I don't know, all of them or some of the perfumes through, because she had her line of perfumes. So he was doing like the business deals.
Understood. Okay.
Didn't have to do with the tour.
So Heather actually followed Britney at this time, and I did not. I'd gone off the Britney train and just didn't really follow her too much. So
yeah, and she had multiple perfumes.
Yes, no, I have Britney Curious is like my favorite.
I don't know what
so yum
perfume this would have been at that time, but it was whatever came out during the Onyx Hotel tour.
Yes. Okay. So that makes more sense because all of a sudden Brian is like no longer in the book.
Yeah.
Just there it is. And she felt like she lost Justin and Brian at the same time. And I was like, but he's working for you. I don't understand, because to me, working for Britney means going on tour.
Oh, for sure.
By her side, her manager, like going with her, being like, hey, what's up? Even if you're like in LA, wherever the fuck you are, that you would, if you're working for Britney, you'd be in constant contact, like a personal assistant or, you know, whatever. So I didn't understand, like, why she felt like at this point in her life she had lost Justin and Brian.
Yeah, it just sounds like Brian was doing a lot of business deals.
Which makes more sense.
And that's probably why he had to go between the different, you know, LA and New York.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
I'm sure he took advantage of the opportunity and partied as much as he could.
Yes, of course. I would. The tour was super depressing for her. She ended up hurting her knee, and she had to reschedule 2 of her shows. But she was like praying that she would hurt her knee.
Yeah.
And she just wanted to like be done with this shit. She only rescheduled 2 shows, but she ended up earlier in her life, she had already hurt her knee on the Sometimes video, and then as well when she was playing basketball as a teenager. So this is a recurring injury for her.
She's already had at least 2 surgeries up until this point.
Was it surgeries or just?
Because she had a surgery when she was a teenager.
Oh, okay. I didn't know for sure if they were surgeries. But at this point, she was just checked out. She's like, just like kind of going through the motions of life, just being like, this is fucking crazy. This is stupid. I don't want anything to do with this. Then, cue K-Fed, Kevin Federline. And he was holding her.
Okay, so
for 2 pages, he was holding her.
Let's say that they met in a club called Joseph's Cafe in Hollywood.
Sure did.
They had an instant connection for Britney. That's how she felt.
Yes. This is her book.
She said that she felt like they had, for her it was an escape. He was an escape from work and all the stress, and she could just be herself around him. And then we get to the first night. She says, and I quote, "He held me, and I mean held me, in a pool for hours." I wrote, "Love bombing much?" Okay, K-Fed. Jenna, I'm just going to hold you.
Get the fuck away from me.
For
Don't
hours.
touch me.
Hours.
Yeah, no.
Hours.
That's
Just a few hours.
Unless they weren't holding and they were actually, that's word for fucking.
No, because she talks about sex in the book and openly, like, she doesn't mind talking
I don't know.
about it.
So, anyways, at that time, the media
Yeah.
and everybody wanted her to be with these famous guys, famous CEOs. Oh, they had these, like, dreams of her being with, like, oh, she can go be with Tom Cruise. Sorry, Katie Holmes, but, you know, whatever she'll be with.
She probably would have preferred Brad Pitt.
I was going to say Brad Pitt next, and I was going to be like, sorry, Jennifer Aniston, Angelina Jolie, whatever. But the media was just constantly like, oh, she could be with this person, and she just wanted to keep Kevin Federline to herself, and the media also was not happy with that when it came out that they were together. And Kevin just made her feel, like, super safe, and she could be herself. And Kevin had this, like, bad boy image, and yeah, but
maybe she was rebelling a little bit with him.
For sure.
Because of her family.
For sure. Okay, so here's a truth bomb. Britney had no idea that Kevin Federline already had a toddler, or they had a fucking girlfriend that was 8 months pregnant. I forgot all about this.
I know, and the thing is like, didn't they communicate, like, about their lives and stuff?
She did, I'm sure.
And he just kept everything to himself, and he didn't admit anything.
Slimy asshole, yes.
Yeah.
That is correct. So Kevin went on tour with Britney in 2004. And on the way flying home, she says, hey, want to get married? He says no. And then asks her to marry him anyways.
And then it doesn't say it in the book, but I remember back in the day, the rumor was that because he was, like, so broke, because he was on her coattails, that she bought her own ring.
Yes, I do remember that.
I don't know.
I don't know, because paparazzi.
She didn't address the ring in her book. But
I mean, who was he before that?
He was a backup dancer.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, but she doesn't bring that up either.
Not at all.
Yeah, I don't know if he was a very good one. I don't know. He seems like he was one of those guys that was hanging around the clubs trying to get an opportunity with someone. Britney was vulnerable. She was lonely.
There. She did it.
There,
like,
and she liked him. She loved him, actually.
Really loved him.
She really fell for him.
So, when he was on tour, they had the reality show, Britney and Kevin Chaotic, which I watched like one episode maybe, but you watched it.
I watched all of the episodes, and I have rewatched them like a while back.
Shut up!
Yeah, like a while back.
I'm gonna go home and rewatch it.
You can watch it, I think, on YouTube, and then I don't know where else. But it's funny watching it now because I don't know, it's just funny watching it now.
Because you know what's happened, what's progressed since to see it then.
Yeah, but also, I don't know, it just, like, she even says in her book that she wanted it to be more like Madonna's Truth or Dare, and I don't know if you ever saw that. But it was kind of like a behind the scenes of, like, Madonna's Truth or Dare tour.
Oh.
But it was also, like, she would film and her friends would film, and it was a little more candid. But then
that's because they were saying that the book said that it was like their video diaries of this tour.
But the difference between, like, I get what Britney was saying, like, that was her vision, but then when Britney admits in the book that it would just look like, kind of like, well, she didn't use the word crappy, but I'm going to say crappy because I've seen it. It's just, like, weird kind of home videos. Like, there's one where, like, they're obviously, like, really high, probably, like, smoking weed. Doesn't show them smoking weed or drunk, like, drinking, but, like, she's there and she's like, oh, and she's like, I can't even do it, but she's like talking funny, like she's talking in her accent, but overdoing her Louisiana accent, and she's like, I'm so high, and it's just like a random weird, like, there's no point to it. There's no plot. There's no, like, why are you gonna put that out that you're so high right now? And then, like, but then later in the book, she says that, like, she can't be around weed because it makes her so nauseous. So I'm just like,
but
I don't know. It's just inconsistencies there.
Yeah.
And then if you're trying to help your image, then like, why are you gonna put that out there when your dad's already like on you?
Well, was he at that point though yet? I don't think he was yet.
I'm sure he was in his brain. He was like,
in his brain, but
like,
in reality,
emotion.
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't think that he got involved. I don't think he got involved that much until she had the kids and stuff, the boys.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll find out. All that she has said so far was that he held her, they went on tour, they made Chaotic. So.
And they got engaged.
Oh, yes, engaged. So, on June 8th, 2004, she broke her leg on tour again. And she had to cancel the rest of the shows. And she was actually happy about it. And she had to end up having surgery because of all the already issues that she had. She said that she went on Vicodin, which I thought was going to go into a whole new, like, spiel of, like, and then I did this. And instead, she just said that she isolated herself, didn't want anyone near her. The Onyx tour was a mistake. That she was like, TV is easy. Touring fucking is not.
Yeah.
And at this point, I believe that around this time she's saying that Jamie Lynn started her TV show. And it was Zoe 101.
And Britney had done some TV. Like, she had done SNL.
Yeah.
She had done
Crossroads,
like, little Crossroads, cameos. So...
and then she had done reality show, apparently, like, But
they her and Kevin just filmed that themselves. The difference with Madonna is that I think they actually had, like, also a production team. Like, it would be
plot line.
Yeah, it would be some of Madonna's and footage, and then it would be, like, the crew would be there, too. I don't think Britney had a camera crew. It didn't seem like it.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like
I didn't
maybe
see
they
either,
did.
So I don't know, but...
Maybe they did.
So, she... thought that Kevin was giving her the stability that she needed to be herself and the freedom and, when in reality, he's just like getting a free meal. So they were married in the fall of 2004 and she was ready to start a family and she was finally saying no to things. Like if she could, she would have never gone on the Onyx tour. And she parted ways with her managers. She posted a letter to fans that I was going to read. For fun. And she posted a letter online to fans that says, I've actually learned to say no. With this newly found freedom, it's like people don't know how to act around me. I'm sorry that my life seemed like it was all over the place the past 2 years. It's probably because it was. I understand now what they mean when they talk about child stars. Going and going and going is all I've ever known since I was 15 years old. Please remember that times are changing and so am I. And this was pre-social media, so she couldn't just put this on her Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I mean, there was a MySpace barely starting up in 2004.
I don't even think she had MySpace. Well, maybe she had MySpace.
Who knows?
Music. Yeah.
MySpace Music wasn't even a thing until like 2008, and this is only 2004.
No, she didn't. I don't think she had that, but maybe she did. But I think what she did is she put
it on her website.
Her website.
But that's what I'm saying. That she didn't have like a Twitter or an X or fucking whatever. Yeah. She didn't have like a vocal like that. So it literally went on her website.
Or what people would have to do is they'd have to like say, okay, I want to do an interview.
Yeah, a PR statement.
Yeah, and they'd have to do a little PR statement or a little short interview.
A press statement or
press
whatever.
Conference.
Press conference. Yeah.
What do they call that?
That's what it is. We're not famous, so we don't know what any of that is. So, yeah, she was like, I'm going to have family. Bye. And,
oh, did we mention they got married in the fall? You said that, right?
Yes, fall 2004.
But did you mention...
when I turned 18.
Yeah, but did you mention that it was a surprise ceremony and they were not legally married due to a prenup for a couple weeks after. So they did get legally married, but it was a couple weeks after. And I remember when they got married, People Magazine did this shoot for the ceremony, and it was all over People Magazine because we didn't have social like you said, we didn't have
TMZ yet.
No,
TMZ didn't.
Well, there was Perez Hilton was like one of the first ones.
Yes,
there was Perez Hilton,
but you'd have to go to PerezHilton.com. It wasn't like you just open your phone and you get Perez, TMZ, Britney's statement, this, that. It's not like that.
there might have been TMZ at that time.
No, 2007.
It was 2007. I feel like there was something else other than Perez Hilton that I don't know what it was.
Paris Hilton.
No. I mean, as
No, I know.
a
Paris
blogger.
Hilton.
I know.
I'm just kidding.
Paris Hilton. I mean,
There
like
was page
a
6.
blogger. Oh.
Page 6, and then page 6 brought out other bloggers, including Perez Hilton. Page 6
Yeah.
was in the New York, and like the New York Times or whatever. And if you were on page 6, you were like,
yeah, that's right.
they had that was like the gossip column for New York.
And they also used to have, like, all the socialites.
The
and stuff.
socialites.
Yeah.
So there was one that was called Poppy, and her name was Poppy.
Oh,
And
Poppy.
I'm so glad I didn't, but I didn't have a girl anyways, but I wanted to name my daughter Poppy because I was like, that is such a cute name. I've never heard that. And now, thank God, like, I never had a girl because of trolls.
Oh, well, there's also a music artist named Poppy.
Oh.
And I went and I saw Poppy with my niece, Joey.
How funny.
We went and saw Poppy.
Yeah, no, this was like a socialite. She was like 22 or 3. Or something.
How
and
funny.
It was like,
I don't
it was
remember.
like a
I don't
real-life
remember
Gossip
her.
Girl type,
Yeah.
like New York socialite. Like,
yeah, I don't remember
I just remember her
her.
name Poppy and her being in heels and her saying, I always have to wear heels. When I don't, I still stand like this on my tippy toes.
She would be a good model for every time they break their heel and they have to, like, walk like this still.
She'd be a good Barbie. Remember in the Barbie movie when Barbie was like,
oh, yeah.
and she's like, and then her foot goes flat and she's like, oh, my foot went flat. It was a big deal. Did you see the movie?
I did,
Okay,
yeah.
that was a big deal. Anyways,
Yeah.
so she was super excited for her new beginning, her newfound freedom, happy things were going to change on her terms. Here we go. And that's the end of the chapter.
That's the end of chapter 18. Britney Spears, the
The
woman in me.
So stay tuned for the next chapter, 19.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. The X at the top, yeah.